One of the most famous stars in Hollywood history is dead at 36. Marilyn Monroe was found dead in bed under circumstances that were in tragic contrast to her glamorous career as a comic talent.
Ever wondered what your favorite Golden Age movie stars really smelled like off-camera? Turns out, some of them weren't just famous for their talent. They were infamous for clearing rooms with their body odor and breath that could knock out a co-star. Studio publicists did everything they could to keep the truth under wraps, but some stories were just too gross to stay buried. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 15 classic Hollywood icons whose shocking personal habits could clear a room faster than a box office flop. Get ready, because you'll never see these stars the same way again. Number 15. James Dean. Let's kick things off with a name that screams cool, rebellious, and unforgettable. James Dean. He only starred in 3 major films before his tragic death in 1955. But his legacy never faded. What most people don't know, though, is that Dean's rebellion wasn't just about fast cars and moody stares. It extended into his personal hygiene, too. Dean's shower habits? Let's just say, inconsistent at best. He was known to wear the same clothes for days, or even weeks, without so much as a rinse. Some say it was his way of sticking it to the polished Hollywood image, like a walking protest against the glamour machine. But that raw, rugged charm? It came with a smell. During the filming of Rebel Without a Cause, director Nicholas Ray reportedly had to pull him aside more than once due to complaints from crew members about his odor. And poor Natalie Wood, his co-star, imagine filming close-up romantic scenes while trying not to grimace. She never broke professionalism, but crew members noticed her discomfort whenever she had to get close to Dean. It's one of those behind-the-scenes truths that makes you rethink the movie just a little. This wasn't just a Hollywood phase either. Friends from Dean's struggling New York days recalled his tiny apartment that barely had hot water. Old habits stuck. Even after hitting it big, Dean kept those same unwashed jeans, lucky red socks, and that infamous leather jacket he refused to clean, believing the grime added authenticity. Director Elia Kazan, who cast him in East of Eden, even wrote that Dean seemed to treat body odor like part of his method acting toolkit. So, was it rebellion, superstition, or just laziness? Maybe all 3. But his hygiene issues are nothing compared to some others on this list. Number 14. Clark Gable. Now, let's move from the rebel to the king of Hollywood himself. Clark Gable. With that devil-may-care grin and commanding presence, Gable was the definition of leading man. From Gone with the Wind to It Happened. One night, women swooned over him, but behind those smoldering close-ups, there was something far less romantic: his breath. Gable had serious dental problems early in his career and eventually replaced most of his teeth with dentures. While that fixed his smile, it came with a hidden downside. His dentures didn't fit well, and they trapped bacteria, causing chronic bad breath that plagued him for years. Vivien Leigh, his co-star in Gone with the Wind, reportedly had a tough time filming intimate scenes with him. Imagine having to whisper sweet nothings while bracing yourself against a wall of halitosis. It got so bad that studio execs actually rescheduled close-up scenes for earlier in the day, hoping his breath would be more bearable. And it wasn't just about the breath. Rumors also swirled about Gable struggling with body odor, something that became harder to mask as he aged. The studios handed him breath fresheners like they were candy, and tried their best to keep the issue under wraps. But within Hollywood circles, Gable's hygiene woes were an open secret, one that didn't quite match the polished image on screen. But if you thought that was surprising, then you need to hear who's next. Number 13. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, the blonde bombshell who lit up the screen in Some Like It Hot and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. She was the picture of perfection until you got a little closer. Turns out, Marilyn had some strong opinions about hygiene, and not in the way you might expect. She believed deodorants were full of harmful chemicals, so she simply didn't use them. Sounds natural, right? Well, it also meant those close to her often had to deal with her natural scent, which wasn't always so glamorous. Tony Curtis, her co-star in Some Like It Hot, once made the infamous remark that kissing Marilyn was like kissing Hitler. While he later claimed it was a joke taken out of context, many believed it had more to do with her hygiene than her kissing style. And he wasn't the only one. Stories circulated of directors using air fresheners near the set and makeup artists dousing her with perfume just to mask the odor. Despite all this, Monroe's charm was undeniable, but behind that red lipstick and platinum hair was a woman who, for personal and health reasons, simply didn't believe in conventional grooming. And as shocking as that sounds, she wasn't the only Golden Age actress with surprising habits. Number 12. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford was the kind of star who demanded perfection. Her eyebrows were always arched just right. Her clothes were pressed to military standards, and her home, especially that famous white-on-white decor, was cleaned so obsessively that even her own children were afraid to leave fingerprints. But behind that porcelain perfection was a shocking truth. Joan Crawford's dental hygiene was, well, pretty horrifying. It all started with her obsession with cheekbones. Following a trend that stars like Marlene Dietrich had already set, Crawford had several of her back molars removed to give her face a more hollow, chiseled appearance. In theory, this would make her cheekbones pop under the studio lights. In practice, it wrecked her mouth. Her front teeth began to spread, creating gaps that dentists tried to fix with cement and porcelain caps. Over time, the cement caused infections. Her gums became inflamed, swollen, and painful. And that iconic upper lip, the one that became her signature, it was actually permanently puffed due to years of untreated swelling and dental trauma. By the time Crawford was in her late 60s, her mouth was in such bad shape that she had to undergo major surgery. Not a root canal or a couple of crowns, but full-blown reconstructive dental surgery that left her needing 24-hour medical care for days. Imagine that. The same woman who would famously scrub her hands raw with bleach couldn't properly clean her mouth. What made this more bizarre was how perfectly manicured the rest of her life appeared. Her makeup routine was legendary. Her wardrobe was pristine. Her children and staff lived under strict, almost military rules of cleanliness. But when makeup artists leaned in, they noticed something was off. Her breath. It was so bad during her later years, especially when she was drinking, that some co-stars refused to get too close. One makeup artist whispered that Joan smelled like roses on the outside, but like rot from the inside. The contrast between her glamorous image and her oral hygiene was so extreme, it became a whispered rumor around Hollywood sets. And once you knew, it was hard to unsee. But Crawford wasn't the only legend who had this kind of double life. Number 11. Elizabeth Taylor. Another Hollywood icon whose private reality starkly contradicted her public persona was Elizabeth Taylor. Known for her violet eyes and stunning beauty, Taylor maintained an immaculate public image throughout her long career. But during periods of personal turmoil, particularly during her volatile relationship with Richard Burton, her private hygiene habits reportedly fell far short of her polished public appearance. During the filming of Cleopatra, 1963, one of the most expensive productions in Hollywood history, the Italian crew reportedly found American standards of hygiene lacking overall. One makeup artist who worked with Taylor throughout the 1960s noted that her bathing habits seemed directly tied to her emotional state. When Taylor was happy and stable, particularly at the beginning of relationships, she maintained meticulous personal care. During periods of relationship turmoil or depression, however, she might go days without properly bathing, relying instead on heavy perfume and powder to mask body odor. Joseph L. Mankiewicz, who directed Taylor in Cleopatra, and suddenly, last summer, 1959, reportedly developed a diplomatic system for addressing hygiene issues with his leading lady. Rather than confronting her directly, he would arrange for a female assistant to casually mention that a hot bath had been prepared in Taylor's trailer during a break, an offer that allowed Taylor to address any issues without embarrassment. Taylor's neglect of personal care was tied directly to her emotional state. Number 10. Matthew McConaughey. You know him. You love him. You can probably hear his voice in your head right now. All right, all right, all right. But what you can't hear, thankfully, is Matthew McConaughey's personal scent. And that's where things get interesting. Unlike the Golden Age stars we've talked about so far, McConaughey's hygiene habits aren't the result of dental disasters or emotional turmoil. Nope, he simply chooses not to wear deodorant, not because he forgot, not because he ran out, but because he believes the stuff is toxic. For over 3 decades now, McConaughey has proudly gone without antiperspirants. Instead, he carries around a salt rock and claims it keeps him smelling just fine. According to him, his natural musk is a hit with the ladies. No complaints. In fact, he once said in an interview that people are always leaning in to smell him. Seriously. But not everyone agrees. His Fool's Gold co-star Kate Hudson was reportedly so put off by his body odor that she tried to sneak deodorant into his trailer. Repeatedly. She even asked the makeup team to help him freshen up before their kissing scenes. McConaughey, ever the free spirit, just shrugged it off. Interestingly, Tropic Thunder actress Yvette Nicole Brown had a completely different take. She described his scent as delicious, like granola and sunshine. Whether that's a compliment or a polite way of saying he smells like a hiking trail is up for debate. McConaughey sees it all as part of his vibe, natural, unbothered, and a little wild. He lives off the grid, barefoot as much as possible, and clearly thinks smelling like a cedar forest is more authentic than smelling like mountain rain from a spray can. Love it or hate it, his approach to hygiene is 100% him. And in a town full of polished perfection, maybe that's part of why he stands out. Number 9. Sophia Loren. You'd think someone as drop-dead gorgeous as Sophia Loren would be immune to gossip about bad breath. But nope. Even Hollywood royalty has their off days. And in Loren's case, it turned into one of the most awkward behind-the-scenes feuds in film history. It all went down during the filming of A Countess from Hong Kong in 1967. The movie had a powerhouse cast, Sophia Loren opposite Marlon Brando, directed by the legendary Charlie Chaplin. Sounds like magic, right? Not exactly. From the moment they met, sparks flew, but not the romantic kind. According to multiple biographies and first-hand crew accounts, Brando complained about Loren's breath, claiming it smelled like a dinosaur's after a garlic dinner. Harsh, right? Especially since Loren, a proud Italian, was never one to shy away from garlic, a staple in her Mediterranean diet. When Brando made his comment just before a kissing scene, Loren didn't take it lying down. She backed away mid-scene, glaring at him, and said in no uncertain terms, "Don't you dare." That moment left the entire set stunned. But this wasn't just a one-off insult. The two had already been clashing over everything, from acting styles to Brando's strange habit of barging into Loren's dressing room and criticizing her personal artwork. He even told her she needed therapy. Not the smoothest way to win over your co-star. Director Charlie Chaplin had to play peacemaker more than once. After Brando accidentally bit Loren's lip during a second take, she was done playing nice. From then on, she treated every romantic scene with him like she was about to kiss a porcupine. Cold and distant, she later described it. Still, Loren powered through like the professional she was. The movie may have flopped, but the behind-the-scenes drama has lived on far longer than any box office numbers. And while Brando was known for being difficult on set, this feud gave fans a look at Loren's fiery backbone. So here's a question. Was Brando just being brutally honest? Or was Loren right to draw the line when things got too personal? Either way, the tension between them gave Hollywood one of its most memorable feuds. And speaking of surprising tensions behind perfect appearances, number 8, Princess Diana. When you think of Princess Diana, you probably picture stunning ball gowns, her shy smile, and the endless sea of flashbulbs capturing her every move. But behind all that royal shine was a woman battling something deeply personal. And it wasn't just emotional pain. It was physical, too. Diana's struggle with bulimia nervosa began just weeks after her engagement to Prince Charles in 1981. She once said the disorder was a symptom of what was going on in my marriage. And while it wasn't visible to the public at first, those closest to her began noticing the toll it was taking, not just emotionally, but physically, and yes, hygienically. Bulimia isn't just about food issues. It causes frequent vomiting, and over time, that acid wears away at your teeth, gums, and breath. According to insiders and Diana's own later interviews, she often suffered from swollen cheeks, raw gums, and bad breath, especially during her worst episodes. It made the most basic royal duties, like meeting people face-to-face or sitting through formal dinners, an exhausting ordeal. One disturbing detail? During her honeymoon cruise on the royal yacht Britannia, Diana was vomiting up to 5 times a day. Her staff thought she was seasick. But it wasn't the ocean. It was the mounting pressure of being married to someone who, by her own admission, didn't love her. And the emotional toll translated into constant physical distress, including bloating and noticeable body odor, which she worked hard to cover with perfume and heavy powders. Even cruel jokes were whispered in the palace. At one family meal, someone made a snide comment like, "Going to waste that food later?" Imagine hearing that when you're already trying to keep it together. Eventually, Diana stopped hiding it. In her famous Panorama interview in 1995, she talked openly about her condition. That kind of honesty was rare in the royal family, and it turned her into a silent advocate for others with eating disorders. It's humbling to realize that even someone adored by millions can feel completely isolated in their pain. And yet, Diana's strength in the face of it made her even more beloved. Number 7. Brad Pitt. Even the most dashing movie stars have their quirks, and Brad Pitt is no exception. Known for his leading roles and charming smile, Pitt might be one of Hollywood's most famous faces, but he's also got a bit of a reputation for skipping showers. Born on December 18, 1963, Pitt has dazzled audiences with his roles in films like Thelma and Louise, 12 Monkeys, and Ocean's 11. His acting chops have earned him accolades like 2 Academy Awards and the title of People's Sexiest Man Alive. But, as it turns out, even the sexiest man alive has a few stinky habits. Those who've worked with Pitt on films like Fury and Inglourious Basterds have noticed that he's not exactly best friends with soap and water. Rather than hitting the shower, Pitt reportedly prefers to freshen up with baby wipes while on set. Imagine being in close quarters with someone who skipped the shower and relies on wipes. That's a whole new level of movie magic. Pitt's aversion to showers might be surprising, but it's apparently part of his laid-back off-screen persona. Eli Roth, who worked with him, mentioned that Pitt once advised him to use baby wipes instead of heading to the trailer for a full shower. It's a bit of a shock to think that the man who seems so polished on screen might prefer a quick wipe down over a thorough wash. So, does knowing about Pitt's hygiene habits change how you view him? You can spill 1 or 2 confessions in the comments. Number 6. Cameron Diaz. Let's be real. When you think of Hollywood glamour, Cameron Diaz usually comes to mind with her sparkling smile and lively personality. But here's a behind-the-scenes peek that might just have you rethinking your own beauty routine. Despite her sparkling public persona, Diaz has some pretty unconventional hygiene habits that reveal a more laid-back side of the star. Cameron Michelle Diaz, born on July 30th, 1972, has been a major fixture in Hollywood with roles in hit comedies and dramas, amassing over $3 billion in domestic box office grosses by 2018. Known for her roles in classics like There's Something About Mary and Charlie's Angels, Diaz has undeniably left a mark on the entertainment industry. Yet, when it comes to personal care, she takes a refreshingly different approach. Diaz once opened up on the Rule Breakers podcast about her unorthodox beauty routine, saying, "I literally do nothing." It might sound surprising, but she confessed that washing her face is not a priority in her daily life. In fact, she only remembers to use her beauty products about twice a month, joking that she often questions if applying them sporadically even counts. It seems her approach to beauty is as casual as her attitude towards her public image. But the surprises don't end there. In 2014, Diaz revealed that she had given up deodorant entirely, something she hasn't used in 2 decades. Her rationale? Diaz believes that antiperspirants merely mask odors rather than eliminate them, so she opts to let her natural scent shine through. She even advises trimming armpit hair to prevent smells from lingering. It's a bold stance that not only defies conventional beauty norms, but also shows her commitment to a more natural lifestyle. Number 5. Britney Spears. When you think of Britney Spears, you might picture glamorous music videos, high-energy performances, and a pop princess persona. But in a twist that sounds like it could be straight out of a drama-filled reality show, her former bodyguard, Fernando Flores, spilled some rather unflattering details about Britney's life offstage in 2011. Flores' lawsuit painted a picture of Britney's private life that was far from the polished image fans saw. He claimed that Britney's days were filled with chain-smoking cigarettes, leaving a heavy, stale tobacco smell that seemed to cling to her wherever she went. According to Flores, Britney didn't exactly follow the rules of conventional hygiene. Imagine this: a pop diva who, behind closed doors, might skip a bath for days, dodge deodorant as if it were a fad, and neglect both toothbrushing and hair care. It sounds like she was in her own pop star bubble, living life on her own terms, regardless of typical cleanliness norms. Flores didn't stop there. He also described Britney's more casual and unapologetic behavior, including instances of her breaking wind and picking her nose, as though she were at home rather than in the limelight. It's hard to imagine the glitzy star of Toxic getting caught in such everyday antics. Britney's team quickly dismissed these claims, but the incident certainly left an impression. And while her barefoot stroll in a gas station bathroom didn't help her case, it's clear that Britney remains a resilient and enduring figure in pop culture. What do you think? Could these behind-the-scenes moments be part of what makes her so relatable? Number 4. Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus, known for her fearless and often unpredictable approach to life, has a reputation for being a hot mess. But did you know her hygiene habits have also made headlines? In March 2016, Miley's personal quirks came under scrutiny when reports emerged that she had been spotted wearing someone else's retainer. Yes, you read that right, a shared retainer. While Miley's bold persona often defies convention, this hygiene blunder took things to a new level. Medical experts were quick to voice their concerns, highlighting the potential health risks associated with using someone else's dental appliances. They warned that Miley might have been exposing herself to a variety of germs, from Streptococcus to Candida. Imagine the cocktail of bacteria she might have unwittingly invited into her mouth. It's like hosting a germ party you definitely don't want an invite to. But the surprises didn't stop there. Miley's coated tongue also drew attention and sparked speculation about her oral hygiene habits. The buildup on her tongue was seen by some as a sign of possible neglect in her dental care routine. It seems that even with her larger-than-life public persona, Miley's private hygiene practices might be just as eyebrow-raising. So, the next time you think your own hygiene habits are a bit unconventional, remember that even celebrities like Miley Cyrus have their quirks. What's the most unusual thing you've ever done in the name of personal hygiene? Number 3. Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart, the actress who captured hearts as Bella Swan in the Twilight Saga, has always been celebrated for her rebellious spirit and distinctive style. Known for her effortlessly cool, grungy look, Kristen's approach to personal hygiene is just as unconventional as her fashion sense. Her laid-back attitude towards cleanliness has been a subject of much discussion, and not always in the most flattering light. In 2011, Kristen's personal habits became the talk of the tabloids, particularly when her then-boyfriend, Robert Pattinson, was reported to be less than impressed. According to sources from the National Enquirer, even someone as easygoing as Pattinson found Kristen's hygiene habits challenging. Reports indicated that Kristen wasn't one to follow typical grooming routines. She was known to go for days without washing her hair and brushing her teeth. Only once a day was her norm. Perfume? Rarely in her repertoire. Kristen, however, was unapologetic about her approach. She seemed to view her natural scent as part of her identity rather than something to be masked. In an interview with Stylist magazine, she revealed a rather surprising detail about her ex-partner's preferences. Apparently, Pattinson had an unusual fondness for her natural scent, to the extent that he enjoyed licking her underarms. Kristen herself found the obsession with washing away natural smells rather baffling. "I don't get this obsession with washing the smell off," she commented candidly. Adding another layer to this quirky picture, Kristen admitted that when she's feeling nervous, she might develop a less than pleasant odor. "When I'm nervous, I'm so mindless," she said. "I twiddle my thumbs." Her acknowledgement of this nervousness-related odor underscores her candid and self-aware nature. Whether Kristen's habits are a statement of her rebellious streak or simply a reflection of her relaxed personality, she remains unapologetically authentic. Her nonconformist approach to cleanliness is just one aspect of her broader, laid-back attitude towards life. In a world where many celebrities adhere to strict grooming standards, Kristen Stewart stands out as someone who embraces her natural self, quirks and all. Number 2. Montgomery Clift. Montgomery Clift was Hollywood royalty, celebrated for his powerful performances in classics like A Place in the Sun and From Here to Eternity. But behind his impressive acting skills was a personal life that sometimes led to notable hygiene issues. His struggles extended beyond his roles, affecting his on-set presence. Clift's personal life was marked by substance abuse, which took a toll on his everyday habits. His reliance on alcohol and prescription substances often led to neglect of basic self-care. Co-stars and friends observed his strong body odor, unkempt appearance, and general lack of grooming. Elizabeth Taylor, a close friend and frequent co-star, tried to help him maintain his hygiene, but often found it challenging. She once shared that Monty was a beautiful soul, but sometimes he just didn't care about the way he smelled or looked. On the set of The Misfits, Clift's personal assistant had to regularly encourage him to bathe before shoots. Crew members even left deodorant and fresh clothes in his trailer, hoping to prompt better habits. Director Joseph L. Mankiewicz, known for his meticulous approach, had to address Clift's hygiene directly during the filming of Suddenly last summer. He reportedly asked Clift to shower before coming to the set, due to complaints from other cast members. Clift's hygiene issues became more pronounced after a severe car accident in 1956, which left him with lasting injuries. The painkillers and alcohol he used for relief only worsened his neglect of personal care. Despite his declining health and personal struggles, Clift's acting remained remarkable. His ability to separate his personal challenges from his professional performances was nothing short of impressive. Ever thought about how it might feel to be a brilliant actor, but struggle with basic personal hygiene? It's a stark reminder that even the most talented individuals can face significant personal battles. Number 1. Mae West. You might think that a star as dazzling as Mae West would leave a trail of glamour wherever she went, but her backstage habits were quite the opposite. Known for her sultry roles in She Done Him Wrong and I'm No Angel, Mae West was a Hollywood icon with a personality that could light up the screen. But when the cameras were off, she had some peculiar habits that caught many off guard. Mae West, with her confident charm and sharp wit, had a rather unconventional take on personal hygiene. She was famously against frequent bathing, believing it to be unnecessary and even detrimental. In her autobiography, Goodness Had Nothing to Do with It, she candidly shared, "I believe in natural living, and that means not stripping away the body's natural oils with too much washing." This philosophy led to extended periods between baths, much to the dismay of her colleagues. On set, West's hygiene was a topic of conversation. Director L.E.L. Sherman from She Done Him Wrong had to contend with the strong scent lingering in her dressing room. During the filming of I'm No Angel, her assistant revealed that Mae often skipped baths and relied heavily on perfumes like Taboo by Dana to mask any odors. Despite this, her undeniable charisma and presence kept her in the spotlight. West's wardrobe habits were just as unconventional. Known for wearing the same clothes repeatedly without laundering, her outfits often required frequent freshening up by the costume team. Gossip about her distinct scent circulated at social events, but Mae remained unbothered, confidently living life on her own terms. Her natural lifestyle extended to her diet as well, favoring organic foods and shunning processed items. Her minimal use of commercial hygiene products, which she considered full of harmful chemicals, perfectly matched her unique approach to health. If you found these revelations as fascinating as they are repulsive, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more hidden histories of Hollywood's biggest stars. Drop a comment below telling us which hygiene horror shocked you the most, or let us know which old Hollywood star you'd like us to investigate next.